$1 trillion. This is the potential market that is the African continent, but intra-Africa trade is only 15% of that, or $150 billion.
Many South African exporters need country risk support. They need buyer and supplier credit support. All these are not fully available here. The ECIC, the Export Credit Insurance Corporation of South Africa, provides it, but there's a limit to what it can do. Working with us, we can do more. We can make South Africa become or achieve its full potential in terms of becoming the engine of total intra-African trade.
Africa Export and Import Bank has partnered with the Export Credit Insurance Corporation of South Africa to make South Africa a catalyst in promoting continental trade. $1 billion has been allocated for South Africa Trade and Investment Program, SATIPP.
It is promoting and is going to be funding on a risk-sharing basis between Export Credit Insurance Corporation, where we are going to be providing credit guarantees, political risk insurance, etc., and Afrexim Bank, who will be providing risk capital and funding, other funding, trade finance related funding, to do things like structured finance, trade finance, and enable South Africans to be able to increase their level of trade with other African countries. Previously, this had not been the case. Mostly, if you look at the patterns of trade, you'll find that 80 to 90% of all our trade as South Africans is with the SADC countries. And what we are saying is that, the market in Africa is much, much more expansive than that.
But also key in making South Africa the catalyst and for the country to share the burden of economic migrants is to export its manufacturers and investors to industrialize other African countries.
If the developed half of the world is dependent on us to get their raw materials for manufacturing, how is it that we are still poor and cannot compete in international markets? The answer is very simple. We have not been able to use what we have in abundance, which others do not have, to strategically and pragmatically position ourselves for what we do not currently produce.
Delegates say the focus areas of SATIPP that include risk undertaking and trade guarantees promise a new era.
The program can create larger markets for African firms and promote inclusive industrialization as a result of the greater ease through which parts of a product's manufacturing in one African country may be outsourced and located in various countries within the continent. The more we connect to the world, the better we will be able to connect to each other and create the African factory.
The continent is concluding its free trade area agreement, but this funding from Afrexim Bank is just 1% of the $100 billion in trade finance required to unlock intra-Africa trade. Ntakwana Ngatani, SABC News, Johannesburg.